You see this? You have become the movie. You have become the story. You know, at one point, you were the person that, we were the witness of the famous character. I'll give you an example. You know, Morgan Freeman is always Morgan Freeman. Doesn't matter what movie he's in, he's always fucking Morgan Freeman. So the character's Keanu Reeves, right? And it doesn't matter what character you're at, he'll always be Keanu, right? Well, I'm not really a big movie guy. I guess because I kind of grew up in a big movie city. I felt I kind of like by de facto I picked up names here and there. There's sometimes I go to parties and I call this like the cult of Hollywood. People are like, "Did you hear about this person?" No, tell me about what happened to this person I never heard in my life. And this is the point where I feel like this is how people who don't like basketball. This is how like they feel like when start talking about like LeBron James and you know who else? Let's see, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Are they gonna win the championship in the bubble, in the COVID bubble? They're like, what the fuck is that guy talking about? Bubble, COVID? They know what that means, but it's a 2020, right? So now you have become the movie. You know, you are the one that could, you know, create work of art. You know, and don't get me wrong, the old art, it's nothing will ever, nothing. I will not be able to produce that. You know, I could tell you a story. You know, and you could imagine it. So maybe it's kind of like it's not as powerful with your eye vision, but maybe your mind. You know, storytelling is like an old way of telling like a movie, right? It has its own uniqueness. You know, storytelling is a very powerful art. It's kind of you're kind of losing it, you know, because most people like to hear stories, you know, but it's very few the ones that like to tell it. Or I tell you this, they like to tell it, but they're shy. They're very shy, you know. I guess one of the things that I've seen, a lot of people act very weird, you know. Like I don't want to go into names, but I've seen people who, like teachers I had in high school. Now I see them like, you know. I'm trying to get less, teachers that I've had, you know, professors, I see them like dancing with like hats and, you know, a big beret and like these glasses. And I'm like, man, gotta make up a name. Miss K is very, out there now, huh? She wasn't like that when she was teaching me, man. So I feel like this is part of the thing about being an actor, you know, or wearing a mask, you know. Hey, you ever wear a mask in a party? You feel like it's a hell of a new powers awaken, right? I think that's what like this does. It's kind of like a costume, you know? So that's why when I tell people I believe in COVID, I kind of like say it in a way too where, you know, I think this alters your psychological, you kind of wearing a mask, you know? I mean, it would be different if you put like maybe like 2 holes in it right here, right? And then you made like a mask over your face. And that would be, yeah, that would also be what you call it, a mask, but that'd be a more elaborate mask, you know. You don't see that in the society. I mean, before COVID, you never saw this, you know. Only people I saw do this was Asian people, right? And people are dumb. People think they're sick, and I feel like no, she's actually doing you a favor. See, when she puts this on, if she is sick, she's not gonna get the people around her you're sick. So you actually, your logic is it's wrong, you know. She's actually looking after you. But you actually said you should stay home if you're sick. Which you should. Actually, you should stay home. But you live in a society where you gotta pay rent, and if you stay home you get kicked out and you're homeless. So there's a nice my opinion. But yeah, so you have become the movie. You. And the only reason why I think I catch people off guard sometimes because the things that I know could be very sophisticated, you know. I put a lot of work, you know. My friends that know me, like I put a lot of work into learning what I learn, you know, and I take a lot of joy in it, you know. And I feel like I want to share what I learned, but in a way where anybody can learn it, you know. Because I don't feel, the only reason I feel sometimes it's hard to understand, because I feel the delivery of the person that wrote it, the author, it's very complex, you know. There's sometimes like you have to speak at this level in order for very few people to understand what you're saying, you know. Like I'll give you an example. Doctors, right? Doctors have a very complex vocabulary, but because they know the names of the body parts, right? And in order for them to communicate the right information about the right body part, or depend what kind of doctor too. You know, I'm just generalizing everything right here. But a person who has the knowledge in that, or background in that, with that vocabulary, will make complete sense, you know. But the person who doesn't, it sounds like you're talking about something you don't like, you know. Like it won't make any sense. It will sound like you're talking a different language, you know. So basically, I'm trying to regurgitate everything that I've eaten and present it to you so you could easily digest. So I'm that mama bird, you know. I'll take that meat, and I chose a horrible analogy, but that's kind of the truth, you know. I feel like, why shouldn't children learn statistics, you know? I have a kid, I'm teaching statistics, and we go out, you know, we look for cars. And that's the other thing, you know, I'm trying to teach numbers, but through more kinesthetic lesson plans. And don't get me wrong, you know, this is just a one kid, and it's already like extremely hard, you know. I don't think I'll be able to pull this off with two. I barely pull it off with one. But you know, that's the kind of ratio you need to help a child, you know, 1-to-1 ratio, you know. But don't get me wrong, I'm also a big fan of letting them wander around, and hey, good luck. If something happens, here's this whistle. No, that's a horrible joke. Hope people don't get offended. It's just a joke. But no, I'm a big fan of letting kids play in forests, you know. I really feel like running through nature, you know. And that's a whole controversy. There's both debates. Like, what about if something comes and takes them? Well, that's true. There's no argument against that. But I don't want to talk about that. But I digress. You have become the story, you know. You are the one now that's able to express yourself, you know. And I feel that's gonna be a birth of an art, you know. Because I feel like imagine if Shakespeare had access to like a smartphone device. Let's say somebody that level of craftsmanship with words, right? I think he would make really good art, you know. And it's funny because you're like, oh, Shakespeare would have made it funny by now, would have made it rich by now if he wasn't born into society. But you have to understand. I think I learned this in PBS. They're talking about Shakespeare, and they said that I think it's one of those on YouTube. I probably learned it on YouTube. If you look for it, you'll find it. But you're talking about how when Shakespeare came out in London, it was like on the bad side of town, right? And basically it was the music of the poor people, you know, the music of the people who are suffering, you know. But it was the playwright of the people who were suffering, right? So I guess that's what added elements to his extra emotion, to his craftsmanship, you know. Because like, look at the music now, you know, who are the ones that make it, you know, and that'll tell you a lot about their past, right? The pain. Hey, but it's just these are my opinions, you know. You're welcome to differ with me, you know. Never accept people's opinions without a grain of salt. Everyone, even me, you know. And that's what Baha'u'llah said. So you do your own investigation of truth, you know. Even though sometimes you're like, shit, I have to go against them. Jesus, please save me. But man, it's just honor to your enemy, right? Because you see, like, damn, I bet you LeBron James doesn't want to play a little kid from the park. He wants to play somebody his height, 6'9", you know, just as fast as him. If you play somebody like me, I'm 5'7", you know, and I'll give a hell of a fight. I think I'll surprise him, you know, because even though I'm 5'7", I have a heart like Nate Robertson, you know. And I don't shoot like Nate Robertson, but I definitely, at one point I had athleticism, you know. Since I'm getting older, my agility has decreased a lot, you know. But I digress. A lot of it's hard too, you know. Basketball, unfortunately, is a sport that relies a lot on height. But like, let's say another sport that doesn't, you know, like soccer. Look at Messi, you know, he's 5'7". La pulga atómica, the atomic, or something. I might be saying it wrong, but you know, sizes doesn't really matter. I mean, it does a little in soccer, but he still managed to make it a really good player. You know, 5'7". I'm 5'7", so who knows? Maybe I'm the Messi, the guy who didn't make it, you know? There's a lot of them. You might be one of them, but maybe I cut it at 10 minutes. But yeah, you have become the actor. You know, don't forget that. You know, you could make the art you've always wanted to make. now's the time. And there's oversaturation. Don't get me wrong. You're competing with one little last thing, because I really wanted to talk about this. You're competing with everyone now. You know, it doesn't take much for a person to have a cell phone. I guess first world. Third world might be a little harder, but hey, it didn't stop the African kid dancing in the rain, right? He did it, and look. And now you're competing with the whole world, so good luck. People like me are out there. Even more people even smarter than me are out there, you know? I definitely met them. Like, fuck, really? People like you exist? How's that even possible? But you see them every day.